Hi, friends. I'm back, and this time I'm going to be speaking about theater here in Toronto, Canada. I want to highlight the Paprika Festival, which is celebrating its 25th year anniversary, and it's going to be taking place between May 12th to the 16th here in Toronto at Native Earth's Aki Studio. So this year, there were about 220 artists that applied to be part of the 2026 Paprika cohort. And nine artists were selected to be part of four program streams, which include the Directors Lab, the Playwrights Unit, the Indigenous Art Program, and the Design Lab. Paprika Festival is a youth-led professional performing arts organization where emerging artists and arts administrators can access paid opportunities, mentorships, and hands-on labs to develop their artistic practices and also get professional experience in production and arts management. So, to spotlight one of the artists participating in this year's Paprika, I am going to be speaking with Melissa Avalos. She is one of three folks who are selected to participate in the Playwrights Unit at this year's festival. Melissa is a Toronto-born Latina Filipina writer, reviewer, theater lover, and a patron services representative. I am going to learn more about Melissa and about her piece that will be an excerpt of it, which will be presented at Paprika this year on May 16th. So I leave you with my conversation with Melissa Avalos. Hi, friends. I am switching gears today and I'm going to be speaking about theater here in Toronto, Canada. Joining me, I have Melissa Avalos. Melissa, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
I'm excited to speak with you. I know your name from other work that you do in the theater world in Toronto, which is all good. Um, but I think we've never really met, which is kind of interesting to me. But I'm happy to support you because we're going to be talking about your foray into playwriting.
Mhm.
But for folks who aren't aware of your work, Melissa, can you tell us a little bit about your interest in theater, performance art? Is that something you've always had in your life? Where to start?
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting because I think as a kid I was always kind of interested in theater, but I grew up in an area where theater wasn't really accessible. And so I actually have a degree in biochemistry. So I did a lot of the younger life studying science and math and like thinking I was going to be like a doctor or something. Um, but when the pandemic hit, everything shut down, and that's right when I graduated. And I really thought to myself, like, seeing in real time how people are reacting to like science and math and like real hard facts and I don't know. I kind of had a come to Jesus moment where I thought, what do I really want to do with my life? Like what am I what am I actually doing? And so I got a couple of jobs working theater in box office. And I actually really love it. I do love working patron services. I love working in the box office. And ever since then, I was really interested in like every aspect of theater, like what's happening backstage, like writing and even like tech and everything kind of just interested me. And so since then, I've been trying as much as I possibly can to see every aspect of of live performance. It's super interesting.
And so thank you for your work as a box office person. You've helped us along the way, I am sure, because I will say that you're lifesavers a lot of the time. And I think we don't often talk about the folks that are kind of, doing front of house and support in that sense. But for you now, you are actually going more in depth in theater. You're going to be part of the Paprika Festival this year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're gonna be participating in the Playwrights Unit. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's about and what's been your experience so far?
Absolutely. So the playwriting unit is a group of the three of us. It's me, Suleekha, and Gwen. And our facilitator, Merlin, has taken us through basically it's a structured an environment in which we can write what we really want to write.
Right.
And it's been incredible. Like I've never been in a room where everybody's been not only supportive but genuine, and everybody's ideas are so interesting and insane and lovely and so innovative. And Paprika itself has been such a great help. They connect you with mentors. They connect you with other writers. They connect you with just different shows to see. Like everything about Paprika has been really about like trying to get us on our way to start our real artistic journey. And I could not have asked for like a better program to do this. Like every person has been so lovely. It's actually, I've never met such a nice group of people. It's actually so crazy.
I love that. I love that you're having such a great experience. So this is sort of your first time that you try to write kind of a bit of a performance piece.
Mhm.
So as part of this, my understanding is that for the Playwrights Unit, we as audiences can watch excerpts of the show, and
Yes.
yours is Kim is Dead. Where is this coming from?
So Kim is Dead is coming from my own experiences as a box office representative. So the premise of the show, or what I like to say, is sort of like it's about a group of box office workers who work in a theater during the zombie apocalypse, and their manager dies and then gets rehired as a zombie, and they have to figure out a way to keep the box office running. And I really enjoyed writing it, and it's not fully done yet. I'm really enjoying still writing it.
Nice.
And it really has come from the fact that like I think I entered this world through the box office, and most of the people I think I'm still friends with and really connect with are patron service workers, and it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those jobs that's very entry level, and so different kinds of people are like in the box office. It's a very fun dynamic. And also, it's one of those jobs that is a bit thankless. And we do get thanks from our patrons, which I love, especially at certain box offices, like people will come and they'll thank you very profusely, and it's so rewarding when you get to see audiences. But I think a lot of the um I think there's a lot of things people don't know about what goes on behind the scenes, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I thought I would like exacerbate that and put everybody in a crazy time where people are getting attacked by zombies.
So, what was it about the zombie trope that said, you know what? I'm gonna use it for this.
Um, I think we're all in a time where we could kind of feel like the world's falling apart a bit. Ever since COVID, really. I started writing this, I think, during COVID.
Hmm.
What kind of felt like an apocalypse in a way, where
Sure.
everything was so everyone was so unsure about everything. And nobody knew what to trust, and nobody knew how safe they were. And theater was very precisely impacted because it's a performance, it's a space in which people have to be there together live.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I still think since then it feels like the world's still, being cobbled together. And the idea of zombies is sort of like it's something where you can look at a zombie and oh, this isn't right.
Hmm.
And so I wanted to use that trope to reflect on our current world to be like, hey, maybe it's not zombies, but there are certain things in our world that they just don't feel right. They feel a little scary and unsure. And how are we working through that? How are we as humans in theater or just like working our minimum wage jobs? How are we really wrestling with that fact of the world kind of, it's not the best right now.
No, I mean, it's a fair point. And I think it's also, that's why I like genre and like zombies is one of my favorite tropes too, in that we can kind of push boundaries too, right?
Hmm.
So would you say, you don't have to go into full details, but in terms of being in this unit, with your cohort, how does it help in kind of fleshing out ideas and kind of getting it to where it's at now that the festival is coming up soon, but um, what's been that process for you?
Yeah, it's been really great to get together with my cohort and my facilitator Merlin because writing feels like such an isolating process. And I feel like a lot of people who like to write can attest to that. And I always say like, because sometimes I do, I also do criticism on the side, and I feel like nothing I write is as good until someone else can get their eyes on it. I do feel like although writing is an isolating process, like it feels so much better when it is collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can get different eyes on it and different perspectives on it, and feedback was so critical to get feedback. Of does this work? Does this not work? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm trying to say? And having everybody kind of give me those answers before it gets formally to an audience, like having a mini test audience to
Mm-hmm.
like run ideas through. And it's great when everyone you're running these ideas through you can trust and are very smart, and you know they're coming with it with open arms, which is I think critical when you are sharing your work. It's so vulnerable.
Absolutely. I was going to say, yeah, it must be very vulnerable for sure in terms of this is what I'm thinking. What do you think about my thoughts?
Yeah, it's so embarrassing sometimes too. It's like, oh, and you start to feel like everyone hates it, and it's not true. But it feels like that whenever you share something so personal.
Hmm.
Which is why it's really nice to get small positive feedback, or criticism, but positive criticism, to work on it before it gets to a bigger audience who might not be as kind. And so fair, I'm a critic myself. I think it's absolutely fair. People watch it and they don't like it. It's totally fair.
Yeah, absolutely. But maybe even if you don't enjoy something fully, it doesn't mean doesn't you don't think about it, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's my take on that too, in terms of, does criticism exist and how can it be helpful, right?
Hmm.
I was going to ask you about, I didn't ask this before, but kind of you deciding to apply to be part of this um, kind of lab or unit, and what were the initial thoughts in applying and where you are today in terms of that process too?
Yeah. Paprika is one of those like programs where like hundreds of people apply. And so when I applied, I was kind of like, whatever. I'm not going to get it, but I always think it's a good muscle to build to practice applying to things.
Mhm,
A good
mhm.
application is something that takes work and you have to keep working at it. And so I thought, I apply to it just because I want to know how to write a good application.
Nice.
And so when I was accepted for an interview, I was like, that's crazy. I'm not going to get it. And then when I got accepted, I thought, oh, that's insane. There's no way. It was just total disbelief because of how many people and how competitive this program is. And so I've been trying my hardest to really cherish every second I've been here, and really try to absorb as much information as I possibly can, because I know how lucky I am, to be part of it. And it has changed. Like my initial idea that I had, my very first script that I had, I do have like a very first original draft that I hated. I really hated it. I wrote it and I thought, I don't like it and I don't know why I don't like it. And as I've been going through the program step by step, like saying what I would like from my piece or what I want to say with it, and having people talk to me and say, well, what about this or what about that? Bouncing off ideas, trying to build it together to be something that I can be proud of, and I am proud of it now. Is It's so invaluable. It's such a magical thing, and I always say like Paprika feels like they're a bunch of genies because they can really make any of my wishes come true, and I don't know how they do it, but it's been really, really, really lovely.
Hmm. Have you discovered new influences for your piece? Or, have you, yeah, or something, or ideas that you hadn't really thought of that you can share?
Yeah. I also don't want to spoil anything, but there
Spoilers.
was there is a bit where I originally had a character, who she's the artistic director of the theater company that is running the box office, and I think I had her very grounded. I'm writing a satire, but I
Okay.
was almost worried that people would think I'm criticizing this type of character too much. She's a person with a lot of power in the company, and I think I was really trying to make her very grounded.
Mhm.
And after running it through a couple of people, everybody was like, well, this is a satire, and this isn't a specific person. You can go bigger. And so with all the characters, I've decided, like, if I am trying to be funny and it is a satire, there's no harm in going bigger, going more ridiculous, like really stretching out to the farthest wides could be like they're zombies for gosh sakes. Like people can be ridiculous and act in ridiculous ways.
Hmm.
Um, so I've really leaned into the like over dramatic, melodramatic, everything is so serious to every person kind of angle, which I think it was a lot more grounded before. But it's a lot more fun now, which I really like.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, no spoilers, but that totally makes so allows us as audiences to be okay with things being big. Sometimes I think audiences go to festivals, theater festivals specifically sometimes, and they kind of expect a certain level of, performance.
Mhm.
I like that pieces like yours and others are challenging us to kind of sit with whatever it is that's presented to us and react. And satire, I think it's actually a really nice way of challenging us to think
I
about.
hope so. I hope I hope that what I'm writing is able to people are even just a snippet of it. People can watch it and see themselves in it, and then also reflect and think about how they act and everything like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. And I think that's what art is about. It's a bit of a reflection on ourselves. I don't want to forget to say this, but folks, for the Playwrights Unit, it is on May 16th, correct? But the
Yes.
festival runs from May 12th to the 17th, I believe. I'll put notes in terms of where people can go see it, but I just didn't want to forget that. In terms of your piece, is it like I know it's an excerpt. What do you hope audiences kind of walk away with? I know we just talked a little bit about, challenging through satire, but what else are you hoping um, audiences kind of receive from your
I
piece?
think um I think there's a lot of conventions and structures, especially in the theater industry, but in any industry where there is a minimum wage worker, where there are certain expectations and there are certain attitudes that even the worker has about what's the most important thing right now. What's so important? Is it the like how important is my work compared to the rest of my life? And who gets to who gets to say what I do and who gets to decide what my life is. And I really hope people can watch themselves in the characters and see the characters make mistakes and think to themselves, do I want to continue these mistakes? I want people to ask questions about, every day when they go to work. Who am I working for?
Mhm.
Why am I working? And is this fair? Or even, like sometimes having a friend at work is the most important thing. Just small things, connection versus making money and wondering where you fall in that balance.
Mm.
I would love to have people think about that. That's my goal, even for the 30 minutes that you watch.
That's great. And I think those are really important things to think about every day. And I love that you're all asking us to think about things that are differently. And I'll shout out your cohort as well because there's it looks to be some interesting stories coming out of that. I see that there's some shout outs in terms of what Merlin said about the three of you on the website. So
Oh yeah, it's so nice.
paprikafestival.com is the place to go, but you're taking us from box offices to a Barbie townhouse or a home under the threat of eviction. So very
Mhm.
prescient and poignant, but through a lens that I think I'm really curious to kind of experience.
I'm excited for everybody to see it. I think it's going to be incredible.
I'm excited that you're excited. I think it's very contagious, Melissa. And after this, would you plan to continue fleshing out the story? Is that kind of the plan?
I absolutely would. There's something in my brain that says, I don't know if I want to be a playwright like as my career. I definitely want to write this and put it up. That's for sure. So, keep your eye out, everybody. Maybe it'll be somewhere or sometime.
First. For folks who might want to follow your progress anywhere, do you want to point us to any links or socials?
Oh yeah, I guess follow me on Instagram. It's Melavakok.
We'll find you and tag you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you And again, congratulations. I really
Thank you.
thank you.